Hey everyone, this is Johnny G and Friends from Pana Vista Records. Tonight, our special guest is Mr. Joey Winslett from Chattanooga. Joey, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
Of course, we're really glad that you're here today. Joey is a guitar player, a tremendous singer-songwriter.
Thank you.
And I've known Joey since he was back in high school. We used to play guitars a little bit together in high school.
Yeah.
And Joey, what are your musical interests as far as the influence that you've had when you were growing up, and what got you into music?
So, first, thanks for having me here.
Absolutely.
It's an honor to be on it. Thank you. The roots of my musical experience, I guess, begins with my parents and classic rock and growing up listening to Bob Seger and the Eagles and just sort of. I remember being like 10 years old and being able to sing and hanging out with my friends and their parents would be listening to KZ106 and I could sing every single lyric to every song that would come on the radio.
Sure, that's awesome.
Bohemian Rhapsody or something would be playing and their parents would turn around now they're driving us and be like, well, how do you know Scaramouche, or whatever, and or a Doobie Brothers song or know who was in the Doobie Brothers at the age of 10, or whatever. So from sort of, I don't just organically going from that, my aunt also, she's a huge music buff and plays guitar. And I really started hanging out with my aunt a lot as I grew up, especially, and turning, probably between that 10, 12 years old range. She taught me a couple of chords on the guitar, and, there were just songs that I knew. So, it's always, when you learn to play the guitar, there's a reason why everyone that has always taken piano lessons don't always play the piano.
That's right.
Because they start off with Mozart or something,
something really
or
difficult.
Beethoven or whatever. It's something that doesn't even really interest them, but you showed them. If the piano teacher were to show me how to play Desperado,
it might have been different.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So, I started off playing Take It Easy by the Eagles, which is just simple three, however many chord song or whatever, and because she taught me, the chords, the basic chords. So then I taught myself tablature and kept moving up. And then by the time I met you, I was already starting to play bar gigs. And at that point, I was heavily into theater and music and had to sort of make a decision which direction I wanted to go.
Now, that was a question I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
How much of theater is in you when you play? Because I know one of the things about you that's really cool is that you love to play live.
Yep.
You are a live jammer. I mean,
Absolutely.
You love jam music. I think your music that's even out there in the music world is they've listed you as a jam band.
That's right. Yeah.
And so how much of the theater is in you that you go, hey man, I'm carrying this over into my band?
So the way I like to explain it is, I like to get cold chills. Like for instance, and I'll go back to that the original foundation of this after I tell the story. But like last night, I played a gig, and I had a guy playing with me, Jerry Fordham. He's a fantastic utility player. He plays the flute, he plays the fiddle, he plays the saxophone, he plays the guitar, he plays the piano, he plays the harmonica, and he is fantastic at all of them. So you start a guitar riff low and you bring it up high, and by the end of it, he's going crazy, whether it's on the flute or the saxophone or the fiddle or whatever. And, if and when, and he always does, it gives you the cold chills of that effect of someone bringing you through that story and without speaking a word, most times. I found that in bands like the Allman Brothers and the Grateful Dead.
Sure.
And eventually Dave Matthews and the Fish and all, and while keeping the roots of sort of the classic rock and the KZ106 of the Southern rock guy that I am, the cold chill effect I also found in theater. when someone would give a monologue, and it would, it'd just be one person on the stage, and they'd go, by the end of it, it could have you in tears, or they could have you dying laughing. And
were you involved in a lot of plays when you were growing up? Or?
Yeah, so I'm currently doing a project at the Theater Center in Chattanooga. I'm in It's a Wonderful Life.
Who do you play? What part?
We are doing I guess because of the pandemic, especially, we're doing a radio broadcast of it.
Wow!
So
you've already got me.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear it.
We're doing it's only 5 actors, 5 players playing, and there's 30 something roles in the play.
So what roles are you?
I play Clarence the Angel.
Yeah, awesome.
I play Harry, the younger brother of George Bailey.
Harry Bailey,
that's right. I play Sam, which is Sam Wainwright, the guy that was going to originally marry.
Wealthy guy, his good buddy.
Yeah, Sam, all the way to the, one of the older gentlemen that sits at the round table at the bank of the old building and loan, or, and then there's another actor, the only other male actor that plays multiple roles, who plays Potter and plays all the, plays the narrator and Joseph and all the other roles. So,
will it be live?
They are going to do it live, and the way they're going to do it is they're going to put essentially 5 microphones on standing on stands on the stage and space them 6 feet apart, and we will stand there with the scripts in front of us, just like a radio broadcast, and we will be playing the original actors who did the radio broadcast. So, say the guy who originally did the radio broadcast was Harry Haywood. That was the name of the actor. He was a radio broadcaster. And so I will be playing Harry Haywood on stage. Yes. That is doing, I think, probably 10 roles or whatever.
That is so cool.
So, yeah, yeah, it is, yeah. So, but bringing that back to taking, which road, by the end of school, I had been in over 15 productions, and...
Were you, was Mrs. Boydson your theater director?
I love Miss Boydson. Yeah, I still talk to her to this day. Yeah.
I mean, what a tremendous influence at Soddy Daisy High School.
And there are, what people don't know about, like, that theater department, or the amount of players that are out there in the world that are doing professional theater. I mean, you have people that are on improv troupes in Chicago right now that came out of Soddy Daisy High School's theater department. And people that are living in New York actively seeking work, that aren't doing badly, and it was because of her, and what she.
Well, it's a blessing that a school gets a teacher like her.
Yes.
And someone that has such a great impact on kids' lives.
And look, like, she doesn't get paid extra to stay after school and do forensics and do all these things that she pours her heart into. And then you see the effect that it has and it could have on the world. Like, when one of these people make it, you see how different actors and whatnot influence people. And
sure.
I mean, just to think that one person or one teacher in your life could take you there. It's kind of phenomenal.
Let's get back to the music aspect. That's really cool. No. How cool is that?
I had to take a route, is what I'm getting to. And what happened is I had a ride to Chicago for improv theater and acting, or I had a ride to MTSU for songwriting, and I chose songwriting.
You chose the songwriting.
So I went down the music world, and I do theater for fun.
Absolutely.
So that's where we're at.
Well, and it's entertaining. It's helping people. It's making people feel good about themselves, and bringing some joy and laughter and some just some pure, soulful things in our lives that we need, especially this time during this pandemic.
Right.
I want to bring up too, in your profession that you are a professional realtor, and you work with people, helping them find their dream homes and things of that nature. Yeah. So how's the pandemic, how's this COVID-19 affected And then I want to bring that up with it affecting the music too, because I know you are basically a live performer, even though you do have recordings and you're working on an album and this and that. But how has the COVID-19 affected your business and music?
Yeah, so the real estate aspect, I own a real estate team with my mom, Winslett team. She's been in real estate for over 20 years now. I've been in it since 2014. I thought it would have much more of an effect, a negative effect on the real estate market. But what we have to keep reminding ourselves is this is a pandemic sort of recession, not a housing market recession. And I think that everyone has sort of has that aftermath of the 2008 housing crash recession. And anytime it's, so now when it's brought up, we're in a recession, people sort of automatically think that means that the housing market's in turmoil of some sort. But it's actually been opposite in a lot of ways, because what you have is you have people that are sitting at home, and especially people that have money that are sitting at home. All of a sudden they're like, well, man, I wish I had a pool, or man, I wish I had, whatever. Or this house doesn't do this, because these people are used to working and they're not used to being at home. So you've had a lot of movement in especially houses that are, $300,000, $400,000 and up. You've seen a lot of movement this past year in those where they were a little bit more stagnant, especially when you get on up there to the very high-end homes.
So how has your music with live performances been affected by the pandemic?
Well, obviously that has had a negative effect of sorts. The band, I'd say probably between playing solo and with the band, play somewhere around 30 gigs a year, right? The pandemic brought it to a halt, canceled everything. Every single business shut down, every single venue shut down.
The venue shut down, and you just couldn't
play. Then after that, it slowly started coming back within the last couple of months of people reopening. And, I mentioned Jerry earlier. Jerry does a solo thing, and Jerry is a full-time musician. He plays nothing but gigs for a living. And he puts himself on a loop, and he plays over. It's really, really great stuff if you ever get a chance to see him. But I was asking him because I knew it had to affect him, this pandemic, obviously, because there's nowhere to play.
Exactly.
So he has no way to make money. And I'm not going to go into his business, on whatever, but it has. It's been awful. And where he's probably playing every single weekend, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. Now he's trying to get 1 gig a week. And that's awful. So, and then on top of that, when you do get a gig, it's not like people are wanting to come out in record numbers,
Right.
So people are staying home, which, in many ways they should, right? But in many ways it hurts. So, it just shows the constant, I guess, battle that is here over health and economy.
Yeah, absolutely. Both you guys, you're fortunate because you do have another job. You have another outlet.
Exactly.
And but for all the musicians out there, and this is a tremendous industry, the music industry, the live performances and so forth are just kaput.
Yeah.
It puts everybody in a tough situation. I know that my good buddy Jeremy Caldwell, he's a professional rigger, and he does these concerts all over the world,
right?
And they've been shut down. He comes back to the States and from all these tours, and there are no tours to be had.
Yep.
And so he goes and finds other work.
Yep.
And it can be done because you guys are go-getters. You'll do your jobs and have some money coming in, but at the same time, it's tough.
It's a bummer, man.
Yeah,
it really
you're not being able to do what you love to do.
No, you work your whole life to get to get to do something and then it's kind of ripped out from under you by something you can't.
Well, hopefully
control.
they'll find a cure for this.
And
it'll
not
end
to just
soon.
weigh heavy on something negative here.
Exactly. But no, I think it's a good thing to bring up to our audience because we're at a time and a place in our country that none of us have experienced this before.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get through it. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to have you on because I knew that, you are a professional musician. I mean, you do this. This is something that you've done for a long time, and you go out and you do these concerts. And I did want to ask you that tough question: how do you do it now? I mean, what do you do? So, are you working on some? There's a song of yours I really love. It's called "You."
Oh man, I appreciate it. Yeah.
And I know that you. Are singer-songwriter. Are you working on anything right now? Any new material?
Yeah. So obviously you get a lot of downtime, and I'm sure you've written a lot too on being stuck at home. If those of you who have not heard Mr. George here, you need to go listen to him. I remember me and you playing back in school. A specific song. You remember your song "Bicycle Shop"?
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course.
So
just a little acoustic song with acoustic guitar and vocal.
And this guy can play, and I remember, and just to get off subject, to not answer your question, which I will. I am working on stuff, and I'd love for people to hear it. And I don't know when I'm going to release it or when it.
Can you tell us where we can hear you? Where our audience can hear you?
ReverbNation.com/Joey Winslett Band. Go listen to some of our music.
ReverbNation.com/Joey
Winslett Band. And
cool.
I think you noticed. Yeah, you recommended the song "You."
Love that song.
Thank you for that. The process of sitting home and trying to find something to do is for a musician is like a dream come true, or a songwriter.
Well, absolutely, because I retired last year,
right?
So I have a little bit more time.
Sure,
and, it's really fun, but the love of music, and I know that you love music and you love playing guitar and writing, and you play a number of instruments actually. Joey, I can't thank you enough for being on our show tonight. I really thank you for being a part of Jonny G and Friends and coming over and sharing with us. And all of you out there tonight, I really hope that you stay well and stay clear of the COVID. And also look up Joey on the Joey Winslett Band on ReverbNation.com. And so tonight, if you don't mind, why don't we go ahead and showcase your song, "You." And we'll showcase the song that you liked of ours, "Bicycle Shop," and we'll do that for everyone tonight.
Cool.
So, Joey, thanks again.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you. Great to see you doing well, and congratulations on retirement too.
Hey, you bet. Good night, everyone.
What you want is what I want, baby. Sappy talking, it ain't my best virtue. And I hope what you want is what I want, baby. That you and me, to officialize this puppy love kind of thing. I wanna be with you, so give us a try. I gotta be with you, you and me, me and you, you and I. My time to make a move is now over too. And I hope what you want is what I want, baby, and that's you. For you and me to officialize this puppy love kind of thing. I wanna be with you to get lost and try. I gotta be with you. You and me, me and you, you and I. Well, I hope what you want is what I want, and I think what you thinking's what I think, and I want what you want is what I want, and that's you. You and me to officialize this puppy love kind of thing. I wanna be with you to give us a try. I gotta be with you. You and me, me and you, you and I. You and me, me and you, you and I.
There's a story to tell in the bicycle shop. Spokes in the window on a lane that's been lost, and a heart that's been broken but never forgot. There's a tale to remember in the bicycle shop. There's an old schoolyard playground with a bicycle rack and the call of a memory, but you can never go back. And the sparrows are singing as if they never stopped. There's a tale to remember in the bicycle shop. You gotta ride, you got to ride your tales away. You gotta ride, tale to remember in the bicycle shop. You gotta ride, you got to ride your tales away. You gotta ride, tale to remember in the bicycle shop. There's an old vacant lot with a downtrodden path and a four-story building with the windows all out and the remnants of racers and handlebars tossed. There's a tale to remember in the bicycle shop. riding their bicycles there. The circles unbroken like the wind in the air. And the stories continue, for they'll never stop. There's a tale to remember in the bicycle shop. You gotta ride your tales away. You gotta ride, tale to remember in the bicycle shop. You gotta ride your tales away. You gotta ride, tale to remember in the bicycle shop. You got a tale to remember in the bicycle shop. You got a tale to remember in the bicycle